Here we go. My honest review on Daley's undeniable closed mastermind UCM in remote high ticket sales. So I will give you my transparent views, my transparent experience going through their entire mentorship slash mastermind in 2022. And just so that we are both on the same page, in this video I'll refer undeniable closer mastermind as UCM. So when I say UCM, it is the mastermind. So the way I want to structure this video will go by following why I bought the course, the structure of the mentorship follows, whether the information provided is valid or crap, what I like about it and what I did not like about it. But first of all, if you aren't familiar with the people behind UCM, Daley is the CEO and owner of the UCM brand, and the ultimate goal is to help remote salespeople transition from 9 to 5 and land their dream job, make anywhere from $8,000 a month to $15,000 a month and even higher. And but JD has also a lot of different achievements, accomplishments over his career in sales, I think over 17 years. And if you want to do more research, I will link his socials down in the description. So, starting with the reason that I bought the course, to let you know some context, I resigned from my first sales opportunity that I thought were my dream position in software tech sales and a marketing agency. I stayed there at both of those companies for around 1.5 years, both US companies, but the office were based in Ukraine. And as for most of the people know, the war with Russia happened. So both of these companies were in the rut and one of them eventually bankrupted. And I was back to finding a new job, eventually resorted back to job applications, going into Facebook groups. And then I saw Daley post another content piece, and he was like, salespeople, they invest in sales training, but they can't get a decent job. They decide to invest in more and different training, but they still cannot get a decent job. So I thought to myself, I can go by trial and error for the next 6 months, which is the average time for someone to land a job. 6 months, I think it was 22 to 24 weeks. I might be completely off, but 22.4 weeks, something like that. Or I can enroll with UCM and have a higher chance to land a job within 3 weeks, which is the average time in their program for someone to kick things into place. So I was thinking time and money, so I invested. And following the structure of the mentorship, because the goal is simple, right? They're about helping salespeople transition from 9 to 5, land a dream job in remote high ticket sales, how you can get into quality jobs with little to no experience, but they're also helping current salespeople land better sales jobs, right? Like salespeople at $10,000 a month land $20,000 to $40,000 a month, which is where I entered. The moment you join, you get access to pretty much everything. You get a course, you get a private group, you get group coaching calls 1 or twice a day, tech support when you reach out individually for the coaches. They cover every aspect of the career development, like literally interviews, how to ask questions on an interview, how to conduct one interview, networking, how to find good companies, how to reach out to those companies, how to get behind closed doors that aren't wide open for the public, pretty much like networking for dummies, so to say. Personal branding, how to be seen as a high-level professional, knowing your value, personal development, because a lot of these salespeople are fresh from 9 to 5. So coming to a more business environment where we're pretty much contracted salespeople, so we are owning our own businesses, so to say, and that's a whole different kind of like development within ourselves, but also like the mindset, and so many different topics on how to land good to great to excellent positions in sales. Is the information valid or crap? I think the information is valid. The thing is, like, everything that they teach can be used to get into other positions. For example, I've landed the marketing positions. I decided to network with marketing agencies, and it wasn't even for sales positions. It was for, what if I can build a digital marketing career, and I got in. I got into call, and I was able to leverage and negotiate, which is a whole nother spectrum that not a lot of people know how to kind of navigate the conversations. And the other positions that I got in was in software B2B sales, that I'm technically on paper underqualified for, which is pretty funny, but I got in. I was offered a position. And I think it boiled down to being able to network. Like everything, pretty much like everything that gets presented inside exists outside of those walls, if you know what I mean. Like in books, in articles, in studies, like you can find it if you know what to look for. And I think that some of you that are watching this already know what JD, Daley, and UCM is all about and have read about networking and how it all works. I think you guys have stumbled across information that gets presented inside of the group. But what's good with, I think like what makes every course great is that it is like compiled information from someone who used the strategies in the years that they done it in something that you eventually wanna do, and they have compiled information repurposed to like a specific group of people in marketing terms, like a specific niche, which works great because it works. If it works, it works. And many of these courses, right, like this one included, is we get to see all the information work for one person, which eventually changes our belief. If this guy can do it, I can. He's seeing all the information and the articles, the books, and the studies get condensed into one single principle that gets executed, where if you see someone else do it, it's very possible for you to mimic and do it yourself. And I think what's special about this group is that they go very hard on like the principles. I know with every program we want to know what to say and how to say it, but once you know the principles, once you nail the principles, you can literally, especially networking and like your career development, you can literally say, all right, so let me start a career in graphic design, and you're able to network through those ports, and you're able to network to be taken under the wing, which is pretty much the B2B software job that I got. I was able to be under someone's wing, learn the entire process, and they sell to freaking banks, they sell to insurance companies, they sell to military. And that's freaking dope. It's such a high level program, anywhere from like 100,000 to 3 million per deal, which is very, very high level. But the ultimate question, yes, you can find the information and you can figure it out yourself 100%. There are strategies and principles compiled over the years, and this just happens to be a group with that type of information, and it works. So what I like how they position themselves in the marketplace, right? Like UCM does not really focus on like the sales frameworks, the sales principles as much as other trainings do. Like they mostly cover situational sales, like when you come up with a specific situation that maybe happened, this guy threw a cookie at me and I didn't know what to do. In what training do they talk about that situation? So we bring that up and we talk us through the main, high level sales principles in certain parts of the sales process. So you don't really get like a sales script thrown at you, hey, learn this, and have it broken down in tonality, how you handle each objection, like the usual sales training programs. They simply bring you everything else that others aren't teaching, because they know most of the people that come by are from other programs, so they already have the training, but they can't get a decent job. So let's focus on that one thing that others aren't bringing to the plate, and let's focus on getting that dream job where you can basically excel by learning from the other top performers within that gig. Then you just keep buying sales training. Another thing that they do is, I like how the growth is very individualized. I've been a part of some other programs where it's a starting date, and week 1 it's about mindset, week 2 it's about networking, week 3 it's about interviews. Like, I don't want to go through that. I'd rather pick a direction and go and just learn by myself, where I can, if you've been up for 3 years and you only bring out the weeks, give me all the data, right? Give me all the past recordings. I'm going to devour it. I'm going to be a success student and I'm going to kill this program, right? I'm 20 years old. I don't have as many responsibilities as a family have, so I'm able to put my all into it. So I just like that they have structured in a way where you're able to go ham at it if you wanna. If you are someone with a ton of different responsibilities and you have lots to do, then you are able to take your own pace. But it's like just a feeling of, hey, you pick a direction and you go. Like, I don't want to wait on others. And something that I experienced first, like my first impression, is that they have a whole section for mindset alone, right? And it's not, mindset that the cool kids do around the block with monk mode and, you need to get a tailored suit to experience the richness, like the young bucks, people like me are, saying on social media. But it's like actual business strategy, and to basically like do well in sales. And when we only get paid commission only, efficiency has a whole nother meaning. And I think the mindset block really helps with freeing up time and priority lists, and just knowing the principles there on the actual mindset strategy for how you operate as a sales rep. It just like snowballs into everything else, because then the networking comes in and you'll realize that if you're gonna take the program. And here's a fun story for those who are maybe a little bit skeptic. I spoke with a business advisor. The reason being, I've been in sales for 2 years. I was in sales for my first year having my own business, but I did full time to eventually learn and master the skill from other people working, surrounded in that environment. And I spoke with a business advisor recently because, well, I'm starting a business, and I was very surprised with how well we think alike. And this guy, I mean, I've known him for like 4 years now, and every advice he's given me has been top notch. And at the end of our session, he was like, "You're going to do well," right? And that was a moment for me when I realized that, damn, all right, so I'm actually on the right path. And it was just a beautiful thing. Like so many common mind strategies as a coach and as a CEO. He's also a CEO of his 2 other businesses, so I respect him a lot. What I don't like, and Yedi, if you're watching this, have a good day, man. But what I don't like is the limited number of examples. Let me explain. So when it came for me learning sales, the best way I learned sales was through call reviews and shadowing live sales calls. Even when I was doing setting calls, like calling customers, I would have someone listen to my ear and direct me on the live, or doing, setting calls in a room full of people. Like sometimes it would be sitting on Zoom, sometimes it would be physical when the team gathered, right? And it was just a different feeling seeing somebody else with the same framework who's a little bit further ahead stretch the principles into their own style. And seeing somebody else do that who's a bit further, it just taught me to not follow like word by word when it came to a framework, and not really mimic the framework, but have it make sense for me, have it make sense for you. Because that's how you will be able to maximize when it comes to sales, when it comes to networking. And that's something that I've realized, 6-7 months into networking. You'll find your own style. You'll find your best networking strategy. You'll find that you'll discover more or uncover the 2 best networking strategies that you can use off, and then implement them over and over again to repeat success. And then there are 9 different strategies that you barely touch, but you have them in your arsenal. And seeing somebody who's a bit further ahead, using the frameworks to their ideal, it just helps you see how the messages change depending on the information that you have, depending on the goal that you have, depending on the people that you have in front of you. And having that thought process of what someone else does, you're able to bring that within your arsenal and have that as a flexibility. So that's just how I learn best, like seeing what is being done, comparing that to being on sessions with presentations over and over again on the same subject, which is now networking, and just, hearing how to network, what to say, here's the script, here's the, principles. But we never see, someone actually put the principles into place. And maybe that has to do with, not leaking information or not leaking somebody's companies or something like that. But it would just help with, having more examples to how conversations can go when it comes to networking reaching out, making more connections. And a good thing about that is just the variations of conversation. It's like, you learn the framework on how to deal with the sales objection, think about it. But on every single call, it won't be the same way that you deal with it, think about it, because every person is different. Every conversation and connection is different. Once you get as much variation within you, you're able to operate within that flexibility and then use the principles to really dig into and explore new areas within this I guess like specific knowledge or specific skill set. And I think this group is very close to being like a real elite group. And I think what gets highlighted a lot, which is pretty much the principle, pretty much the goal of the group, is what connections you're making, the goals that you're setting for yourself, the interviews, the networking, what jobs are available to you, the job offers that you got, how to select the right offer, like all the etc. But once you're given the opportunity, you will have to perform. And I think within this group, it has not been talked about like enough. And I know, I get it, it's a group mentoring program. People are meant to come in, ask their own questions. They can be on their own sales performance, but once you name a session about performance, people will start asking questions along with the subject of this session. And I saw today that they are doing performance next week, but I kind of wrote these points before, so I'm gonna keep this within the video, and hopefully the performance topic will continue further than just 1 week, but have it consistently so that people know, all right, so I've mastered the net, or I've at least come to bit of like getting familiar with the skill set of networking, and it's down to performance and just having the performance section as a part of it. That's it. I've recorded for 24 minutes. I'm gonna clip this so it's a bit shorter. I've retaken clips a little bit, but I didn't want to make this video too long. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. Questions about the mastermind that you have, before you enroll, put them in the comments. I'll answer all of them. I've been part of the group for 9 months now. I'm an alumni of the group, and I'm still part of the community. If I should make a part 2, let me know, and I'll see you in the next one.